I got a request for a revenge podcast because I do not have the right equipment for this. I'm trying to make it with a computer voice and like my other videos with written text too. The idea was intriguing to tell what I do not like of the show and what I would have done differently. But because I love revenge and the characters, I am trying to make a video for every episode. Or when I do not have enough thoughts or opinions about one, I will make a video about several episodes. If you do not like these videos or this idea, I am going to make music videos as always. No worries, I have a song list of more than 200 to work on, so I really have enough on my to-do list. Disclaimer: I am not a professional, so this is purely entertainment for me and the ones who like to watch or hear my thoughts on this. I will talk about the things I am interested in and which I noticed while watching the show. These are the plot, the characters, the fashion and the music. If you do not like my opinion or have another point of view, feel free to write your opinion in the comments. But be fair, cause I am not a native speaker. And as I said or better wrote above, I am not a professional critic. I just watch these shows like any other fan for entertainment reasons. And I do not want to offend anyone involved with creating this stunning show, which is my all-time favorite TV show. So here we go. I like to do this in chronicle order so I have a better structure in my mind. First things first, here is the pilot. I like that they changed some things later in the show, for example the intro with more than just the title word. I love the Wild Red Sea and use this picture at the end of my YouTube videos. What first got me in love with the show are the intros with Emily's voice.
When I was a little girl, my understanding of revenge was as simple as the Sunday school proverbs it hid behind.
I like quotes and voiceovers. That is what I loved about Desperate Housewives and Criminal Minds. This concept, if you want to name it that way, connects two of my favorite mediums, books and moving pictures like movies and TV shows. And I love the role of the beach and the water in the show. There are several times in which Emily was almost drowning. It is almost like a theme. For me, River by Agnes Obel is the unofficial theme song of revenge. But what I really hate about the pilot is the opening with the engagement party. Really, I get the concept of the show and enjoy this back and forth in later seasons. Especially in season 3 with the question who shot Emily, but I do not like being thrown in cold water. If you re-watch the show it is fun, but for the first time when you do not know any character, you do not have a clue what you are watching. I must admit the pilot was not the first episode one watched, so I did not have that problem, but for me it is an issue with other shows and movies. It is just a personal thing, so I guess many liked that about the pilot. I also did not like the cliffhanger with the question if Daniel or Tyler had been shot. I think in the end it was cheap because nobody really thought they would have killed a major character so early in the show. However, I loved how they got nearly every character involved. You really get to see almost every major character except Daniel, of course.
Emily already feels like the piece of the family puzzle we never even knew was missing.
And for me they made it very clear from the start that this show was about Emily and Victoria. Even you do not know the backstory and anything about these two characters, you can really feel how they despise each other.
When we first sat down to discuss tonight's occasion, I was immediately taken with the idea of an evening inspired by primal bookends. Fire and ice, beginnings and endings.
And the theme with fire and ice and the red dresses was very dramatic too. Emily's and Victoria's dresses from the engagement party are not my favorites, but they served its purpose, I think.
Of my son Daniel to the lovely and beguiling Miss Emily Thorne.
A personal reason why I like this show so much is because I lost my father when I was 17. For me it came out of nowhere and I had a really difficult time after it happened. So I can relate with Emily, and the flashbacks with her father really hit me.
You know how much I love you, Amanda?
Infinity?
Well, infinity times infinity.
Even more so because I am in the same age as Emily Van Camp, who portrays the main character. And here comes the character which is most annoying for me, Ashley Davenport.
I want your life. You love your life. Yeah, you're right. I just want your money. What's mine is yours.
Her friendship with Emily really looked forced in season 1.
You wanna get drunk on cheap margaritas later? With or without you?
She was the one I really did not miss after her exit in season 3.
So, Ashley's been deported?
She had cool outfits, but she always was kind of a cliché.
Emily will be lost in the crowd next to you.
Queen Victoria. Believe me, she's earned the title. My boss has me handling the guest list for her Memorial Day party. If I screw this up, I might as well move back to Croydon.
A girl who wants to make it in the States and becomes the assistant of an influential woman. I think her character development was not very good. If it was not for her scenes with Emily and Tyler, I would have totally forgot she was even on the show. The Porter boys are a tough choice. I am not a big fan of Declan Porter either, though I know what the actor can play because I know him from Gossip Girl.
Serena's not a patient at the Ostroff Center. I am. I did this. Well, must be a shock for someone who thinks she knows everything.
But he had to play against the cliché, too. Poor boy next door falling in love with rich girl. He played it good and funny, but I was not really invested in him and Charlotte. And it is cheap that their storyline mirrors Emily's and Jack's core story when they were kids.
I'm Jack. I'm Amanda.
The storyline of Jack sailing to Haiti was an internal joke, I think, because first his father dies, so he cannot go, and then Amanda is back and he does not want to go either. Seems like he never really intended to leave the Hamptons. I dislike this scene with Nolan. I hate the over-the-top outfit. And how Jack stands on the boat in this shot. It really does not look natural and even threatening to me.
You don't like me much, do you? One more thing for you to work through, I guess.
However, it is good that they got friends in later episodes, because them being enemies is really not a good idea. They had to be Emily's closest friends because they both knew Amanda's father and what he got through because of the Graysons.
Remember, I witnessed firsthand what these people did to your father.
What made the pilot so good for me was not only Emily's first victim, Lydia Davis.
It's bad enough having some stranger renting it out. I can bear the thought of losing it to one of the she-wolves.
Well, then don't let them see your weakness. It's the first thing they'll use against you.
I loved the story arc with her Victoria and Conrad, especially when they filled in the blanks in the flashback episode later.
When you asked me to back your testimony in David's trial, I did it to protect you.
Why?
Isn't it obvious?
My favorite episodes of the show, by the way. Anyway, I like how they used this friendship to establish Victoria's character, because how she reacts towards Conrad's and Lydia's affair is really telling.
Don't do it again.
She plays right into Emily's hands by taking publicly revenge on Lydia.
Lydia Davis, who won't be going home with a Manet this evening, but with the treasured Van Gogh that hangs in my living room.
But I thought the Van Gogh was a gift from Lydia and Michael.
Lydia has asked me to announce that the beach house she shared with her husband is officially on the market. I'm afraid this will be her final weekend in the Hamptons. Wherever you end up, I hope that the Van Gogh is a constant reminder of the friendship we shared.
And here comes the beach again. Another reason why I love this show, the setting. I do not live at the beach, so for me it is a very nice escape, and to see how living at the beach and having a beach house could be. For me it is a dream, though I know they would be not quite as good consequences in real life. I love to hate Lydia in her first scene with Emily and later in season 3. It is such an impertinence that this socialite thinks the beach house belongs to her, and that Emily can be happy that she allows her to live in her own home. I know she bought it and is the new owner, but for it triggers something, especially because it was Amanda's childhood home. Anyway, Amber Valletta does a good job in arousing anger for her arrogant behavior. Oh, and what I forgot. I noticed this not by first watching, but Emily is wearing her father's watch. It is nice to see how they use props in this show. I know jewelry and symbols are cliché and cannot be used as much as I would wish, but they fulfill a great purpose and trigger more emotions, for you can relate when you have loved and lost someone, too. The belongings, a clock or even a record, are very special when they come from a lost loved one. I have many things which have a connection to my dead father. And songs are important, too, like the theme song, For You, by Angus and Julia Stone. The song is reserved for the flashbacks with her father and the lyrics are really fitting. Though it is a love song, it has a childish and naive quality that fits young Amanda. A word about the fashion. I love Emily's cableknit hoodie in this scene. She wears it several times, a thing that I enjoyed. Though even the show is about people who are very rich, they have favorite items too. And even rich people do wear their favorite clothes more than once. Yet another reason why I do like this show so much is the core story and its variations. In Season 1 it is very straight and near to the original Count of Monte Cristo, but it goes beyond that and is always changing. I know many hate that about shows because they do what serves the story, but it is interesting how still every piece fits together in the end. Even the changing views on Victoria and her love story with David Clarke. A word about Charlotte. I like her character on paper. Spoiler alert. Her being Amanda's half-sister was a good twist and cause for much drama.
So, the fact that Charlotte might be your sister makes absolutely no difference to you.
Half-sister, and no, it doesn't.
But it also was a great opportunity which they did not use as good as they could have.
You have no idea how badly I've always wanted a sister.
I mean, there were several problems with her not knowing that Amanda is not her real sister until Season 4, but they could work around that. They could have even made them work together, even the three girls. Though I do not want to diss Krista B. Allen, but I do not like how she played her. And even more how Charlotte was written. She never really grew above the character of a spoiled rich girl who desperately tries to get attention from her parents, especially when she misbehaves. This exposition of Daniel was really good, though very conventional. But here he is, the golden boy, coming back home. As I rewatched this episode for another video, I noticed how they changed Daniel's and Charlotte's relationship. They had not many scenes together, and here it looks almost as if they would really like each other. In Season 2, he even forgets her birthday.
Her birthday?
Oh my god, I completely forgot.
Well, it can be from both of us.
So in my opinion, they could have really made more out of Charlotte's relationships with her siblings. They merely focused on her relationship towards her parents like they did with Daniel. I know the show is focused on other things and they should be the bad Grayson family. However, it would have been nice to see at least one Grayson to be a better person.
Looks like a stimmy. We need to get him in quick.
Lydia! Emily Thorne. Oh my god, is this your husband?
Obviously, what I liked about the pilot and later on was that we get to see the solution at the end of the episode. So if you watch the show for the very first time, you are guessing how Emily pulled it off. That was nicely done in the pilot with her in disguise, and I love how they got right in with the internal jokes here.
They say vengeance is a dish best served cold. But sometimes it's as warm as a bowl of soup.
The red Sharpie is really an icon I often use in my YouTube videos. The whole concept with the red Sharpie and a new victim in almost every episode was something like a drug. Not only for me but for many viewers of the show. It is the same pattern that was successful in the 18th century with the original story of the Count of Monte Cristo by Dumas.
Lydia,
I also
hi.
like the female and elegant touch of Emily's takedowns. With some exceptions, she almost made it without using any violence like man would do.
And then yesterday at the South Fork Inn, I hope your husband's feeling better.
How they made her meet Jack and Sammy at the same time with the flashback was a little too much for me.
What's his name?
Sam. Sam?
Sammy!
Though for my videos I like the looks they share in this scene. The storyline with the dog was nice but not more than that. Because it was not logical and too forced. I like the idea and dogs are most true companions, but for me it just was too cheesy.
Sam?
Sammy! Get down! What's the matter with you? Sorry, he's not normally this friendly. He's kind of an old grump, actually.
A word on location and Emily's dress again. I love the boat location, though it must have been a nightmare shooting the scenes there. But it completed the maritime theme of the show. I love Emily's color scheme and how they broke it once or twice. She only wears red in significant episodes or moments, for example at the engagement party or in season 2 when Daniel sees her for the first time again. Mostly she is wearing white, creme, nude or light brown tones. It is almost like a disguise because with these colors Emily demonstrates how harmless she is. She blends right in with the light and bright colors of her environment. Like a bird with camouflage. Anyway, I love the Greek style of the white dress she was wearing in these scenes. A reminder on the ancient roots of the revenge plot with Elektra getting even with her mother, who killed Elektra's father together with her new lover. Again, I dislike Ashley as something like a guide. Besides Nolan, Daniel and Victoria, you do not see the persons she describes to Emily ever again. So it is just a dull scene with a fake exposition to kill time. What I really love is how Emily gets to see Victoria for the first time. It is almost like the scuttle puts a target on Emily and the mirroring effect has a dreamy feeling. Emily introducing herself to Daniel was a funny scene and establishes how naive Daniel is. It was annoying to see in season 1 how they banked on it. For till Tyler showed him the infamous photo, he really did not doubt her a bit. For me, this went on quite too long and made Daniel's character even less relatable. In fact, they made him look stupid. Though I do not like their relationship as much as the other two guys. I think they really could have made more with him. In fact, what I like is the chemistry between them in season 1. They were really lucky because I did not know if the scenes would have been this natural when the two actors did not have fallen in love.
No, I've had about all the club soda I can take.
You don't drink?
Used to. Epically.
I know it was boring that he tried to redeem himself for the most part of the show. But I liked the backstory with his ex-girlfriend Sarah in season 1.
Daniel wrapped his convertible around a tree last summer after one too many.
Didn't hurt his face much.
Yeah, it didn't work out quite as well for the waitress he was shagging. His parents paid off everyone and their mother to keep him out of jail.
I love the intercuts with the flashbacks. I know it is cheap, but it really evolves emotions.
Get your hands off my daughter! Get your hands off her! Amanda! Where are you taking her? Amanda!
And I like the old tricks. Actually, most of the shows I like have a great secret and flashbacks which reveal more of the characters. For example, Scandal, and more recently, Big Little Lies with Nicole Kidman.
I gotta admit, it's nice meeting someone who never knew the old me.
It is great that they have a common ground.
Yeah, I know the feeling.
Because they want to start new. That was something which they could have explored more even in season 3. For obvious reasons, Aiden coming back and being a love interest for Emily. They could not explore their relationship in this direction. But Daniel is not as bad in noticing small details, the infinity tattoo for example.
Something like that.
It's a long time.
And in his conversations with Formanda he reveals a bit of compassion for her. So Emily and Daniel actually working together against his parents would have been interesting. What I enjoyed by rewatching the show was the relationship between Conrad and Victoria.
I thought you were taking the weekend off.
More flashbacks with just these two characters could have been interesting, because there were many interesting facts and side effects on this relationship. First, it was very obvious to me that she married him because of status and money, and that was the reason why she stayed with him. But I never really thought about what his reason was to stay.
I love you. I always have.
And it really seems to be love or a sick obsession with her.
You shouldn't be here.
That makes two of us.
The development of Emily's and Nolan's relationship is controversial but very interesting. At first watch, it was annoying how badly she treated Nolan in the first couple of episodes.
Come here, crush your windpipe. I don't think your father would approve. Amanda.
But when you know the whole story, it is clear why Emily was this rude.
What are you doing here, Nolan?
Don't worry. Your secret's safe.
It was her training and she did not want to put anyone in danger. And a great deal with Jack and Aidan was that she did not want to get emotionally involved when she most likely had to face the death of these people. Anyway, it was a smart move to make them not best friends right away. So the relationship they had in the end was deeper and more real because Nolan earned it. I do not like the cupola because as an European it reminds me too much of a castle tower. Maybe this was the intention, but for me it is the wrong time period.
You and this cupola.
And not a good metaphor either. Anyway, I like that the secrets and layers about Victoria's character come to light in every new flashback. She is like a kaleidoscope with different character traits. For me, she is the best developed character in the show after Emily, of course. Though Conrad and David were the motives and causes for revenge, the main adversaries are from the beginning Emily and Victoria. And as final thought on the pilot, as a woman, this is another big reason for me loving this show. It is about women. The men live in this women's world with Machiavellian scheming and plotting, though the men think it is their world to play with. But in fact it is not. They are the nice decoration and women have taken their place in the spotlight.